So I set up my ring light for the first time in forever, so if this video looks weirdly lit, that's why. And I also have my cameras and my phone. I'm using my phone to record. I also have my phone set to record in 4K 60 frames per second. I usually have it set to 30 frames per second. So if it looks weird, sorry. That's why. So with all of the news about Ayn making their way into the portable handheld market, all the news about the new Aya devices, or Ayaneo, I don't really know how that company is named. All of the news about those devices kind of missed me. Keep in mind, I do pay attention to portable emulator news, a bunch of stuff like that. So I had heard of this device, I just hadn't paid attention to it that much. I think I was just paying too much attention to the Loki to really care about anything else, and I was too focused on pre-ordering the Loki. So there are 3 new devices I have here. One is the Aya Neo 2 Geek, interesting name. Another is the Aya Neo Air and the Air Plus. So let's start with the Aya Neo 2. Oh no. Oh wait, there's actually 4 devices. The Aya Neo 2 and 2 Geek are 2 different devices, so think of them differently as I go forward. I don't know why I thought they were the same device. The Aya Neo 2 and 2 Geek are 2 separate devices in terms of specs and stuff, but let's look at these specs. So the Aya Neo 2 has a 7-inch screen, while the 2 Geek has a 7-inch ultra narrow screen. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I'm sure it'll mean something to somebody. The 2 either has an 800p or 1200p screen. I think those are options you can choose from, as this is how this website I'm using lays it out, but I can't be certain. The 2 Geek shows the same options, but with to be determined after it, so I guess that might change later on. I'm not sure why the screen would change later on, but this is looking weird. Do I have other settings? That looks better. The 2 will be using the AMD Ryzen 7 6800U, while the 2 Geek will let you choose that or the Ryzen 5 6600U, and both will have 16 gigabytes of RAM. They both have options of 512 gigabytes and 1 terabyte of storage, while the 2 will have an option for 2 terabytes that the Geek won't. They're both gonna have a fingerprint unlock, like the Aya Neo Next, whatever that's called, does. But looking at the names they have here, it's seemingly going to be a more advanced fingerprint unlock on the 2 compared to the 2 Geek, which will just have a fingerprint unlock. There are other features I'll leave here because they all look the same except for the bottom one where it says, quote, many first world features for the 2, while the 2 Geek just says special function. So these devices will obviously be competing with Ayn and GPD and companies like that, and the Steam Deck obviously in terms of who it's marketed towards, but I don't think we have official pricing on it yet. This website that I'm using says that the 2 Geek is going to be priced around $699 to $799 for the different configurations, meaning that the 2 could be around I don't know, $900,000, which isn't great. And I mean, $699 to $799 doesn't look great for Ayn, whose max is at $800 right now, and it doesn't have a fingerprint unlock. I hope that the 2 isn't as much as the Next is right now. I keep forgetting the name of that device. Let me actually figure it out. But I hope it's not as much as the the Next, that 1400, yeah, it's just called the Next, and there's a Next Pro for $1,600. I hope it's not that much because that'll deter a lot of people. It'll make more sense to be around $1,000 at most, because that'll, I guess, make sense in terms of who this is marketed towards. But I just, even if it is $1,400, I'm sure we're gonna get some cool stuff out of it. So let's talk about the design for a second. I'm sure they'll look identical, if not very similar, but this design is just very hard for me to understand. It's got ergonomic grips that look comfortable to hold, but am I crazy to say that this looks weird? It's definitely unique and looks thick, which I guess makes sense why there are grips on the back, but still, I don't get it. What are these buttons? Why is it so rounded? I'm sure it'll feel nice compared to last year's Next, but you can't deny that it looks unique. I'm not going to say that it looks bad, because I truly don't think it necessarily looks bad. It's just weirdly difficult for me to wrap my head around this design. Whoever designed this should get a raise, because I'm not even sure what it's even supposed to be. Like, that D-pad just looks weird. What are those, volume buttons on the side? What? There are 4 buttons. This is so confusing. If you want to give a raise to someone who created the most confusing design I've ever seen, there you go. Give it to that guy, whoever made that. Give them a raise. Let's move on to the Air before I ramble for too long. So there is the Air and the Air Pro. This one has a design that I can wrap my head around much easier, thank God. But before we get to that, let's look at the specs of this device, these devices. According to Aya themselves, so this is official, the Air will be using a 5560U processor, which is less powerful than the other devices, which is to be expected, and will come in different storage and RAM configurations. One called the Youth, for some reason, with 8GB of RAM, 128GB of storage, and is going to start at $549 after the Indiegogo, which will give early backers a $50 discount, making it $499. There's going to be a 256GB version with 16GB of RAM starting at $629, but early bird backers will get it for $569, and a 512GB option with 16GB of RAM at $649, but early bird backers will get it for $599. I found videos of the Ryzen 5 4500U playing Wii U games at a good frame rate, so you should be fine with this device for emulation, which is a little crazy, but cool nonetheless. We don't know how the AMD Mendocino chip runs in terms of emulation, because I don't think it's even out yet, so we can't judge it against the low-key models, but compared to the Intel version of the low-key Mini, that processor has been tested. It looks a little bit more impressive in this thing. Now, the Air Pro is something I've had a bit more trouble finding information on. Looking at this ETA Prime video and this random tweet I found, I think it'll be using the AMD Mendocino chip or a 12th generation Intel chip, which, I mean, sounds good, but we don't know anything about the Mendocino chip, so we can't judge it yet. It'll use RDNA 2 graphics or Intel UHD graphics depending on the model, as well as having a 1080p 6-inch IPS LCD display. There will be an M.2 slot, which will probably be interchangeable like it'll be on the Loki. You can just put whatever storage device you want in there, and you can run Windows, SteamOS, or the new Aya Neo OS that Aya has said which will run off of Linux, which is cool, I guess. I mean, I don't think we've seen much of it yet, or I at least haven't, so I can't really judge it. I hope it's good, because why wouldn't I want it to be good? That's kind of stupid of me. It's starting at $299, I think. Keep in mind, none of this info came from Aya themselves, so it's a little like unofficial. But if we're going to believe this, I think it'll be at like $299 or $289. Why is the Pro less than the normal? That's something I can't wrap my head around. So to give my full thoughts, I'm not buying any of these. Oh, would I if I could? Yes. Do I have the funds? No, I barely did for that Loki device I just pre-ordered. Unless Aya wants to send me one. It's exciting to see them try to make a cheaper device, because for how exciting the Next was last year, it was expensive. And I mean, I like Aya. I think they have a lot of potential to be one of the best like portable emulation companies, like portable device companies, not emulation, though it's focused on emulation a lot. And I hope they come through with this one. I mean, I just want Aya to be like a good company. The devices look promising. I don't know about the more expensive ones, but I mean, they're still in line with the Loki's pricing, which is cool. Once again, I'm not the biggest PC guy, so I don't really know what all of this means. But powerful devices getting cheaper is good for the consumer, because it's competition. That's always good for the consumer. Seeing Ein and Aya, oh my god, those names are way too similar. One of you needs to change your name. Seeing them seemingly try to create the best Windows handheld at a cheap price that people can actually afford is exciting, because cheap prices makes it easier for people to buy stuff. These are going to be great for emulation, especially the higher end models. But still expect some impressive stuff out of the lower end models. Like, yeah, they're not going to be able to play the most power intensive games like Elden Ring very well, but they're going to be good for emulation. And that's like what I'm excited for. The low key that I pre-ordered, because like I said, I'm not getting this because I don't have the funds. That'll probably get me into like more PC gaming, which is exciting because I don't know. I don't like sitting at my desk for like hours at a time. So like, being able to play PC games like wherever I go, this is probably why a Steam Deck would have been great for me. But playing PC games wherever I go will probably get me to play them more. So I just like being able to play things on the go, even though I play a lot of consoles docked. It's weird. I don't know. I'm excited to see these in people's hands as like they come out. Once they get announced and like sent out to reviewers. If only I'd get one. Yeah. Hi. I have an email. It's my about page. You wanna go? But are you guys excited? Are you buying any of these devices? Did you pre-order the Loki like I did last week? Are you more excited for the Loki? Because I seemingly has a better track record with only one device. So I guess they do have a better track record. Are you excited? Because I'm excited to see these in people's hands. If you guys want me to, I'll like cover it when it releases and like how it does and stuff like in terms of emulation, but I'm not getting one, so I don't know if you guys would really be interested in that. So yeah, tell me below. Are you excited? I'm excited. What do you guys want to see from me? If you want to see me cover a specific device, something specific like on the Odin, the 3DS, something, tell me down below. I read comments if you didn't know. But yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.